there is incompetence. Because when there's corruption, somebody does not have any respect for the law. They will make their own decisions based on what has been given to them. If I'm lucky to be given this chance, I'm sure I will not do any of those things. I will respect everyone, both the young and the old. Anyone who appears before me, I will respect them. I'll work as a competent judge. My integrity will still remain, because even as of now, my integrity is high. I can also say that in most cases, I've got clients because clients feel that I'm a straightforward person. They will say, enda kwa huyo madam, kwa sababu huyo madam atakwambia ukweli. And that one has helped me in my practice. I'm always an honest person. When somebody comes to me with a case, when I know this is not a good case, I will not take that case. I will tell them the truth. If they insist on me taking the case, I'll tell them the truth. I tell them, okay, if you insist, you want me to take the case, I'm taking this case, but this case will not go through. So there are those ones who will say, okay, let's try. There are others who will say, okay, we are not going to try, let's go somewhere else. So my Lord, I know I will bring sincerity, honesty, integrity in the profession, in the judiciary.
Thank you very much for that. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just two questions. The first one, could you demonstrate to the Commission what is it that you have that makes you suitable as a judge, right? And that is not a post-retirement strategy. You know, I don't mean you as an individual. You know, there are many people who look for a position like this as one of their strategies to come now and, you know, finish the remainder of the years in the profession. And in answering that question, I would want you to demonstrate with specific examples that make you really suitable, that demonstrate that this is the kind of a person that you're looking for, not generic. When I say generic, because many people will say I've done cases, I've done that, but you know, we've all done cases. So something that you can say that it demonstrates without any doubt that you're the kind of a person you're looking for and you're ready to be a judge.
As I've already said, I'm a person of integrity. I've not come here because I want to retire here. No. My push for coming here is to serve the public. I've served as an advocate for all these 32 years. Now, I want to serve now from the other side. And I know I'm going to be a very good judge if I'm given this chance. I will do the right thing. I know I'm competent. When it comes to impartiality, I am. I've never shown any kind of impartiality or I've not been partial in any way against anyone. Even when I'm dealing with my clients, you see, you know, sometimes there are clients who are just very difficult, but I feel I always advise them in the proper way. I tell them, I advise them, please don't do this, let's do this. So if I'm given this chance to become a judge, I'm still going to do the same thing. I'm going to bring that wealth of experience of 32 years now in the judiciary.
You know, my dear sister, the problem with that, and I'm not doubting what you are saying, we'll say the same thing generally, you know, so, but, you know, giving specific example of past experiences, and that becomes now, you know, discharging the burden of proof of the ability. But now, my final question is that if, again, you could be able to demonstrate, and again, giving examples of what you've done before, that when you look at the landscape of, the judiciary and the developed jurisprudence, you feel that if you are to become a judge, that this is the difference that you would make. That, by the time when you finish your tenure as a judge, you believe that Justice Beatrice Munialo, this is the impact she'll have made. This is what she'll be remembered for. I don't know again whether you'd be able to tell us what that is, and again tie it with something that you've done in the past that also had the same impact, that you believe that you'll not just be saying you'll make the impact, you'll actually make it based on that past experience.
Okay. I know I do a lot of research when I get a particular case. Like there's a case which I cited. It's a case which went up to the Court of Appeal. It is a case where somebody who married into a family comes and says that now, because it's among some tribe, ladies are not recognized, they cannot hold property. So because there was only one son in that family, the parents died before the land was registered. So when they died, there was only this one son. So this person registered the land into his name. Unfortunately, he died. Then the wife now says, this property belongs to my husband, wants to evict the sisters-in-law. So this is a case we went up to the Court of Appeal because we were saying this land did not belong even to her husband. The land was belonged to the parents, her parents-in-law. So actually the court agreed with our submissions that the land, the husband was only holding this land in trust for the sisters. And actually that's what the ELC court held. She was not satisfied. She went to the Court of Appeal. That's the same thing that the Court of Appeal held. So if I am given this chance, I'm still going to develop that jurisprudence. I know I'm a good researcher. I will research. I'll bring even more to the judiciary. Not only what I've done, but I'm still going to do more to develop the law.
Thank you. I'll take that conversation further by asking you, if you were successful in your bid to become a judge and you are sent to a station, a court station, to organize it and make it efficient, let us know the 5 things you would do to make your court efficient.
5 things. First of all, I will have to familiarize myself with the environment, the court station. I'll have to have a meeting with all the stakeholders. We discuss issues affecting that particular station.
So those are 2. You familiarize yourself, you meet stakeholders. Number 3?
Number 3, of course, we will look at the number of cases in that particular court, how many are pending, and we will see the reason why these cases are pending. In fact, now, and then we will start now handling those cases as per the age.
You look at the data and the backlog.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And
Number 4?
I will make a provision that when we go to court, we look at those ones which are old. We give them the dates before these ones which are still young. But we can also look at the case on a case basis. There are those cases that you can dispose of very fast by way of maybe written submissions compared to full hearing. Because when you go for full hearing, the cases will take long. But we can dispose of cases by way of written submissions.
I'm happy with that. We can move on now to the work of a judge in interpreting the Constitution. And I want you to tell us of the international law that you know which has been applied here in this country, and what is the place of international law in our legal system.
Okay, there's the international law on children's rights.
What do you call it?
International Convention on Children's Rights.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Which other one do you know?
Sorry?
Which other one do you know?
The other one is Convention on the CEDAW.
Convention on elimination.
Yes.
Against all forms of discrimination against women.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
Which other one do you know?
I think I know those ones. I'm conversant with those ones, my lord.
Those are the two that you know.
Yes.
How and in what situation do we apply the international law and our legal system?
Okay, international law, my lord, is universal. Now, when it comes to, let's say, like children, you know, the interest of a child is paramount in both in Kenya and internationally. So the right of a child is very paramount. The best interest of a child must be paramount when you are dealing with that.
And our constitution, where is the place of the international law?
On the human rights, my lady, every person has a right to life.
And can you place where our international law is situated in our constitution?
That one, I may not know the exact article.
Okay, I can remind you it is Article 2.4 of our constitution that makes general rules of international law as part of our Kenyan law. Judge Majanja, you can continue.
Thank you, Chair. As a High Court judge, you'll be required to exercise supervisory jurisdiction. How does the High Court exercise supervisory jurisdiction?
On the subordinate court?
Supervisory jurisdiction, yes.
Yes, the High Court supervises all the subordinate courts. The High Court may recall a file where there's a problem. Maybe something has happened, like a review of a case. The High Court has the mandate to do some, to supervise, to call for that file and review the file. There is where somebody has been feels that his right has been violated, has a right to file a case in the High Court, or somebody in an appeal where somebody feels that his rights, okay, the court, maybe the subordinate court did not do the right thing, will file an appeal in the High Court, so that the High Court can now look at that evidence and see whether it can review that evidence.
And how does the High Court exercise supervisory jurisdiction in civil cases?
Somebody will have to file an appeal to the High Court.
But is there a difference between an appeal as proven?
Yeah, in an appeal, in this case, in an appeal, somebody is not satisfied with the decision of the lower court, will file an appeal in the in the High Court.
Which is a separate jurisdiction.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
But on the supervisory powers, the High Court may call for a file without an appeal, but can write a letter. Somebody can write a letter addressed to the Deputy Registrar raising the issue on that file. The High Court may call for that file to look at the file.
Okay. Thank you, Chair.
Council,
Yes,
I have a few issues to discuss with you. Some questions about your style of writing. I've looked at your style of writing, your pleadings, your submissions in court. Now, in case you become a judge, how do the structure of the structure of a judgment and the way it is written is quite different from pleadings. So tell me how you will apply your techniques in writing pleadings and writing written submissions and even in your correspondence to judgment writing.
Okay, first of all, if I become a judge, when a case comes before me, I will look at the pleadings first. First of all, I look at the plaint, then I will look at the defense, and then look at the evidence that has been adduced, the plaintiff's evidence, the defendant's evidence, together with the witnesses. After that, I will now start analyzing the evidence, and then I reach my conclusion, looking at the facts and then the law.
But what about issues? The issues in dispute?
The issues.
The questions to be answered.
Okay, you see now, okay, like in, there are times when I write my submissions, I frame issues. Now in this case, when I become a judge, maybe the advocates may have framed the issues, but maybe they have not framed them properly. I'll also frame them as a judge before now I start analyzing the evidence, before I reach the conclusion.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And I noticed that when you are doing your submissions, submissions is like an opinion.
Yes.
Yes. You normally would refer to your authorities at the end, and then say in each case a summary of the rationale or the basis of each decision.
Yes.
Yet other people would go issue by issue, deal with one issue, refer to the authorities in support of those issues, and then go one after the other. Why do you go that way? That you leave your authorities for the end?
Okay, I do that because of my line of thought. Sometimes I don't want to interrupt my line of thought, so that if I go this way, I feel like there will be so many underlinings of authorities. So I write all my submissions first, all the points, then I come here, I say on this point of law, I rely on this point of law, I rely on this. Yeah.
Okay, what is the difference between a judgment and a decree?
A decree arises from the decree. So there must be a judgment before a decree. If there's no judgment, there'll be no decree.
What really comes out of the judgment?
Yes, my
To
lord.
be enforced.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, my lord.
Thank you, Chair. I've also known Senior for many years. I'm from the same area. I was also surprised that he mentioned he's from Bungoma and not Trans Nzoia. I have a few questions for you, Senior.
Yes. You see now, like in this case, the one that I was referring to, it is a case where it's a family. This lady found these sisters-in-law staying on the farm. In fact, they were staying, if you go through that, my submission, they were staying in the same house. But now when she comes, the husband dies, she wants to throw these people out. So
I have no problem with the facts.
Yes.
The issue is your statement.
Yes.
That you should not plead. If you have a claim of trust, you should not plead it. So I just needed clarification as
no,
to
it
whether-
must be pleaded. You see, maybe the court also, sometimes even the court can make a mistake. But that's what the Supreme Court said. But a trust must be pleaded. If it's not pleaded, I don't think it is supposed to be even the orders are not supposed to be granted.
Then if you know that is the issue, why did you make it in your submissions? Why did you refer
I
to
put it in my submission because that is a case, you know, this is a case from the Supreme Court, is talking of a trust. So that's why I had to use it.
Okay.
Yeah, but what I know is that a trust must be pleaded.
If you know that, then why would you make reference to a Supreme Court decision which you feel is not right
Okay.
with regards to that particular?
Highest court, and it has reached that decision. You know, there are some decisions which are made. Sometimes you don't agree with them, but because they are binding, you have to use them.
Okay.
Because you see, the Supreme Court authorities are binding on all these other courts.
Okay, I'll have to reread that Supreme Court decision because I was trying to skim through it. I didn't see that actual section that you have mentioned. It is said that the Kenyan judiciary is not pro-poor. There is a lot of inequalities in the Republic, and this is also felt within the justice sector. How, as a judge, are you going to ensure that the principle of equality, which we are all enjoined by the Constitution to adhere to, will be respected and implemented?
Standing in justice, a judge should not decide a case based on where does she come from or where does he come from, what does he have. But a judge must decide a case based on the evidence that is presented.
But if you go to prison, you will find majority of the appeals that are pending. You have unrepresented litigants. You have cases of petty offenders, generally the poor. If you come again to court, you will find the priority that are given to cases that are high-profile cases. So that's what I want you to restrict your response to. How can you ensure that the justice system is pro-poor as a judge?
Okay. In some cases, especially people who are not represented, those people should be given priority. Because, you know, somebody who is not represented, this is a poor person who is not
Okay,
able.
that's one. You
Yes.
will prioritize pro se litigants. The other one?
The other one, I will make sure that these people who are not represented are given lawyers to represent them on pro bono basis.
How would you do that? There are so many cases that would require pro bono services. So how would you do that?
There are many advocates also for now. So and there are very many advocates who want to do those kind of cases, pro bono cases. We will give them, and then also I will give them priority.
So
And
in all cases, just back on the issue of pro bono, is it
No,
for all
not-
cases or?
not okay, those pro bono cases and those people who are not represented, I will give them priority if they come before my court.
If you could just, so you're talking about people who are not represented, you
Yes.
will provide them with pro bono lawyers.
Yes.
So the question is it for all cases, all types of cases that are before you without legal representation, you will give them pro bono lawyers?
Not all.
Yes.
Yeah, not all. For only those ones, especially let's say like those people who are charged with murder, those
That is already happening. So
yeah.
that is already happening.
and then those children, those ones like children,
That is already happening.
yes. And then these others, of course, if they are, you know, like there are those ones who are given, like they are given bond, but they are not able to raise bond. They will come, maybe if somebody comes before me, they will apply, I'm not able to raise this kind of bond. I will look at the case, look at the terms of the bond, I may reduce the bond terms to see whether they'll be able to raise now the bond terms.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and welcome again, Honorable Beatrice. Now, we had a stakeholders engagement when we were preparing for this exercise, and they told us that they would want a judge who understands the complexities of the judicial system, including the challenging environments and the power dynamics. So, what makes the judicial system complex, and how will you navigate around the challenging environment?
Yeah, judiciary is complex. You know, there are times when people come to court, when you go out, they say, I did not hear anything. You know, sometimes the judges, judicial officers talk so softly, and then there's this issue, you know, people fear courts, People, when they come to court, they think they're going to be put in. So, first of all, I'll make sure that people are comfortable in my court. I'll be in a position to talk loud enough so that people can hear what I'm saying. And if they have not heard what I've said, I will ask them if they have understood or not. I will repeat, or I tell my court assistant to explain in a language that they will understand. Because sometimes even the language is a problem to the common mwananchi. So sometimes they don't understand. So I'll make sure in my court the language is clear.
Other than the language, what else? I'm sure the complexity is not just caused by the language.
Yes. The other thing is, as I've said, I will talk loudly. I think my voice is loud enough. Sometimes, because sometimes even you as an advocate, a judge may say something and you have not heard. So, and of course you'll ask, or afterwards you look at the file. What did the judge say? You look at the file. But on another issue is I will make my court a friendly court, so that people are free in my court, so that when they come there, they know here they are going to get justice.
Who are these stakeholders? Who are the stakeholders?
Okay, stakeholders are people who use the court. These include advocates, members of the public, court users, or those are stakeholders.
Now, you are aware of the current vision of the Chief Justice and the judiciary. Are you aware?
Yes.
What is it?
Justice, access to justice by all. Speed justice.
Social transformation
Social, yes,
through
touch.
access to justice. Okay.
Yes.
So how will you use or how will you leverage on technology to facilitate the judiciary in realizing this vision as a judge?
Okay, as a judge, like right now, the e-filing system was rolled a few weeks ago. Now everything is online. And if there's anyone who wants to know about their case, they will just go to the portal, e-citizen, to the judiciary, they tap on their case, they will know how far their case has gone. So with this issue, we will be able, everybody will be able to access justice wherever they are. They don't need to come to a physical court. Somebody may access justice even if they're out of the country.
Anticipate any challenges posed by technology, and how do you go about the mitigation measures?
The challenges are very many. In fact, we are already experiencing them, because most of the time the network is low. You file a case, and the case it takes so long for the case to be handled. But now with that, like the experts, IT experts should be employed and trained more, so that in case of such a problem, those ones will deal with those kind of problems, so that that problem is sorted out immediately.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon once again.
Good afternoon, Yana.
It is often said that independence of the judiciary is the cornerstone of the rule of law.
Sorry?
Independence of the judiciary,
yes,
is a cornerstone of the rule of law.
Yes.
Why do you think we say that?
Because independence of the judiciary is paramount. If a judicial officer is not independent, then there will be no justice. Because if a judicial officer is not independent, let's say like a judge is not independent, will follow what the people are telling him. The person will not follow the law, will not look at the evidence. So as a judicial officer, as a judge, must be independent in dealing with matters. They should not be directed by anyone on what kind of ruling or judgment they should write.
That is decisional independence.
Judicial independence.
Decisional independence. What are you referring to?
Decision.
I'm saying
yes,
that is decisional independence, right?
Yes.
Yes. And is there any other level of independence that we need to secure?
Yes.
Which other level?
Like as a judge, when you are dealing with matters, you are not supposed even to discuss the matters or the evidence.
That is still decisional?
Yes.
Yes. I'm talking about any other level that you know of?
About
the independence of the judiciary?
Yes. Yeah. As a judge or a judicial officer, you're not supposed to intermingle with everyone, especially with the people who have cases in your court. Because if you do that, you will not be able. Okay, you may not even have made a decision based on your relationship, but because somebody saw you with this person or a relative of this person with a case in your court, will think that you have been compromised. So as a judge, there are those instances where you're not supposed even actually to mix with the other people.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, this independence that we are always striving to secure, it's independence against who?
Against the decisions that you make as a judge, not against the other people. But you see, as a judge, you know that those people will come to you, they want you to make a decision in a different way. But you see, when you are independent, of course, you'll tell them, please, I'll not be able, tell them politely, I will not be able to listen to that, or I will not do this. You make your decision based on the evidence and the facts placed before you.
Okay. Now, recently we've been having instances where stakeholders, maybe I can be a bit more specific, like members of the LSK. You said you've served LSK for
over 20 years.
20 years
Yes.
as a treasurer.
Yes.
All through as a treasurer.
Yes.
Incidentally, you don't have caps in your terms?
We don't have?
Caps in
Cap.
your terms, like you can serve only for this period, you can
No.
serve indefinitely.
No, we don't have.
Okay.
Okay, they are there because I remember we had elections, I think it was 2 years ago. I had wanted to get out.
But they insisted you
They
stay.
insisted I stay there because they said their money is safe with me.
you.
Yes.
Okay, that is good. Like I was saying, recently we've been having instances of members of LSK, I'm going to say this in quote, taking charge of courts and deciding who can work or cannot work in a particular region. What is your view about that, especially in respect to that topic of independence of the judiciary?
I expected that, but it is it is not true that the LSK has decided that they work with this or not with this. Maybe I can give an example of Kitale.
Yes.
You know, Kitale, we've had challenges. When there was an index showing that Kitale is #1 in corruption. Yes, Kitale is #1 in corruption.
Yes.
And we've tried to ensure that corruption.
Are you talking about the corruption prevalence index survey?
Yes.
The customer satisfaction survey that you carry out?
Yes.
So Kitale was leading?
Yes. That's what we were told. Kitale is leading. You know, there are issues which come up, and you know, me being an official, you know, people come and tell you, this particular judicial officer has issues. We don't want, because we want to clean our station. Because you see, when the station is like that, you know, it impacts even on you as an advocate. So we said they say we want to clean this station. There are issues which were raised about a particular officer. And now they say, this is what we don't want this particular officer.
Okay, so now as a leader,
yes.
As a leader,
yes,
and a person who is committed also, because you also have that responsibility then to defend the
Yes.
independence of this institution,
yes,
even against corrupt people, isn't it?
yes.
So as a leader, what would you think would be the best way to deal with that?
The best way, you see, first of all, corruption is a perception. You know, it's difficult to pinpoint on a particular person. You know this person is corrupt, but you don't have tangible evidence. So it becomes very difficult. It's a perception. As a leader, you know, when this issue came up, because leaders...
As a leader, you're told you have to do this.
Okay, because of course you sit down, you have a discussion, and then a resolution is made. Now you as a leader, you are the one in front. You implement this. But as a leader, we reached a point, we sat down, we discussed, and this issue was resolved.
Okay.
We are now working so well.
Thank you. Thank you, my lady.
Yes, thank you very much. Now, what do you understand by a transformative leadership?
Transformative leadership. That's a leadership or a leader who looks ahead of what they want to do. Somebody who does not just wake up today and say, I want to do this. But a transformative leader is somebody who is, I can use this word, a visionary leader, who will want to see things change for better. Yes.
Are you such a leader?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable CJ. My question to you is, after being in private practice for over 30 years, I am sure you've given much thought to your bid to becoming a judge. And I'm sure you know there will be challenges about it. Counter, and how have you prepared for them?
Selected to become a judge, I know everything is going to change, even my social life. I will not be able to mingle with people the way I've been mingling with the people. But because of that, I know, of course, I know what it entails. So I'm ready to take on that.
Any other challenge? Any other challenge you foresee?
Another challenge I foresee is I'm going to be far from my family, which is a really difficult situation, but I'm also prepared for it.
How have you prepared for that?
Okay, like I can say my children are now older. They are old enough. They are in separate places. So they're the ones now will be looking for me. Wherever mom is, they look for me. But because of...
Okay.
Yes.
Have you looked at the workload
Yes.
that you may encounter versus in your private practice,
Yes.
and what that will do to you as an individual?
Okay, you see, as an advocate, I'm fairly busy. When it comes to submissions, I can say, like Italy, we have 13 courts. You come from court, every day you are coming from court with a lot of, the case. Once the case is concluded, you go write submissions. So as a judge, I know it's going to be a challenge, but I know I will manage. The judge, sorry, I'm saying submissions because I'm still in the field of submissions. I know as a judge, I'll be able to write judgments.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm satisfied. And all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council, for availing yourself for this interview. This brings us to the end of a very interactive session with you. But we always give an opportunity to our candidates to ask us a question before we release you, if you have any.
I don't have a question, and before I say something, I want to say my lady, Justice Charlie, I can say she was my mentor. And when I started my practice in Kitale, she's the one who was there. I used to ask her, what do I do here? Because of that, here I am. Mm-hmm. I also worked with the CJ. Mm-hmm. We worked so well. I'm very grateful. Don't know. Okay, I want to say I'm very grateful for giving me this chance to appear before you. I know it's not easy. It's not, sometimes you apply and you are not taken, or you are not even shortlisted, but I'm so grateful that this time I found favor before you. I was shortlisted. I've come, we have had an interaction, a good one. I'm very grateful for that.
Thank you very much.
I wish to say this is my third time to appear before the Judicial Service Commission. That shows that I'm so passionate about this job. So once you retire to make your deliberations, it's my prayer that I will find favor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And take away our greetings to Kitare. I had a good stint there working with you. And I must tell the commissioners that I found a lot of cooperation and support from the local bar when I worked there. So keep up the good work. We wish you well. We'll get in touch with you when we complete the exercise.
Thank you very much, my lady.